that it would ever come true. I kept believing, I kept trusting, I kept obeying his voice, because I knew what he promised me that he was able to do. And you know what? And then it finally happened. I said it finally.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. It's time for us to move it. Got to move it on now. Deeper space, making it pop. Got to move it deeper space. Everybody else say it now. If you can hear my voice, sit on down. Hear my voice, come on now. Everybody, 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 come and get a feel.
They were writing books for the young, for the children, preschool books. So I haven't heard from them in a couple of years. Every now and then I said, I'm going to call and see how they're doing.
Do you know all the times I talked to you, one of the things I never asked you, do you have any of your siblings still living?
Any what?
Any of your siblings still living?
No. No, nobody. Everybody is dead. I am the only one who's living. The youngest one died first. And and my youngest brother died last. So then between, there were 10 uncles. 2 of them died before I was born. No, one died before I was born. The other died when I was 3 years old. And all of the 8 children lived to be grown, lived to be adults. And anytime I went to Philadelphia, it was almost like having a picnic, because I went every 2 years. And between the time, my mother died in 65. My father died in 30, around 34. So he was the first one to pass. And my mother died around 30 years after. And my mother used to write poetry. And when she was the oldest real estate African American in Philadelphia. I didn't know that until my book was out. Because in Philadelphia we were the first of a whole lot of things. My oldest brother had the oldest candy making factory there. My sister had the first daycare center. My next sister had, my next sister or brother, she had the first home factory, where the factory would send things to her, and she used her basement as a factory, and other people who didn't want to leave their children and wanted to stay at home, she would employ them. And then she had so many till she got the factory to put machines in different people's houses. And they would, during the weekend, when the truck would come to pick up the clothes, they would have thousands. And to me, every time I went there, I saw that they were working on coats. They were doing, I think, just the rough part and send it back to the factory. And who was the next one? My sister was the only political one. And then here I'm next. I'm the seventh child. And the other three, one was at the beauty shop. And the other one had, he had a daycare center. And my brother worked for the Sunset, what was it? Sunship. That's the government. But he also made a hair preparation. And when he would come home on weekends, he would make that and go as far down as Washington, D.C., as far up as New York, to deliver these things to the beauty shop. So that was then my sister, my oldest sister, had made some type of sauce, barbecue sauce, but it was a powder. And she didn't give it to anybody but my baby sister. My older sister died. My baby sister died. She and her husband were the ones who were supposed to have had it, and he died. And who else? Oh, she gave it to her daughter and her husband, and they died. So that particular type of barbecue sauce died with the family. Nobody else has a secret. And it was a powder, and all you had to do is to put your liquid in there, whether it's vinegar or whether it's whatever it might be. Make it just like you want it. And that died with it.
3.5 years and walked across 6 continents. So we didn't go to Antarctica, but I'm not one for cold weather, so I guess that was okay. And yeah, it was an incredible journey across the U.S. and down into Mexico, and then through the South Pacific and New Zealand and Australia. Then I think from Australia to India, then Egypt, and Pakistan. I forget myself now. And then to Europe, several countries in Europe, and then back to Morocco. So we went back into North Africa, and then across to South America, up into the Andes, and then back home with a stop in the Caribbean. We were there long enough to get caught in a Category 3 hurricane.
Now, where is your home?
My home now is Cottonwood, Alabama. Yeah, but at the time it was Atlanta. Yeah, I recently moved to Cottonwood. Yeah.
Where they have a traffic light, I understand.
Well, a blinking traffic light. We don't quite have a full traffic light. We have a blinking light and a Dollar General. That's about it.
How did you end up in Alabama?
Well, I was coming back. We've been involved in so many things, and I was really, really tired. And I said, well, the only way I'm going to get some rest is I got to find a small enough country town where nobody's going to come visit me. And I was visiting some very dear friends of mine called Hank and Yimmy Jones. They live in Cottonwood. And so when I was visiting, Papa said, well, you know, the house across the street is getting ready to be available. And I jumped on it, and 2 weeks later, we moved. So I'm a Bama now.
And what do you need from the general public now on your domestic walk?
Well, doing a walk like this requires a lot of coordination and a lot of resources to help fill the gap. And so one of the things we ask communities is if there's someone who will host us, in other words, kind of help plan activities in the cities where we're going to be and help us have a place to stay and food to eat, kind of help us take care of ourselves while we're there. And then also resources. We have on all of our sites a button where the community can make a financial contribution to the walk to help us get around the country and back again.
Email address?
Email address?
Website address?
Sure. Our website, our main website is the number 13 moonwalk, the number 4 peace.com, 13 moonwalkforpeace.com. We have a virtual walk site called communitiesofpeace.ning.com, and that's N-I-N-G. So communitiesofpeace.ning.com. And then my personal site is just AudriScottWilliams.com. That's A-U-D-R-I, AudriScottWilliams.com.
And where are you going next, and where do you end up at, and when?
Okay, we're en route now. We just left Macon, and we're en route to Valdosta, from Valdosta to a community in West Palm where 150 families have organized around, African American families organized around organic farming and urban gardening. So we're going to go there, and from there to Miami, back up over to Tampa, around the Panhandle, and head across to California. So we'll be stopping in Tampa, Tallahassee, Balabatry, New Orleans, Austin, Houston, and on across. And then we start our northern route in the springtime. So we'll be coming through from Oakland, California, back across the Rockies and Denver, and then up to St. Louis and Milwaukee, Detroit, and all around the top. Several cities in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and then start our journey back down the East Coast to Atlanta, arriving back in Atlanta on 11/11/11, November 11, 2011, at the King Center.
So you guys move from 10/10/10 to 11/11/11.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
Who's with you now?
I have my mom, who's 81. I have Karen, well, there are 8 of us all together. And yeah, so Karen, my mom, and I are the only 3 that have been all the way around the world together. Yeah. So everybody else is new to the journey. Yes, yes ma'am. 81. She'll be 82 this year. Yeah.
And tell her about that, Audrey. Tell her your mother's condition, and then explain to her why you carry your mother with you.
Sure.
That's powerful.
My mom was diagnosed in 1996 with Alzheimer's. And so now she's pretty progressed with Alzheimer's. But she was an educator for 42 years. And Mom just really loves working with communities, working with young people. So when I had the dream of walking around the world and doing this walk, I just knew that Mom had to go with us. So Mom went all the way around the world with us in her wheelchair, and men in every community, it didn't matter what country we were in, would just pick Mom up and carry her and take care of her. And it was so beautiful. And a lot of the communities we went to, the people just fell in love with my mother because they said their mothers are dying too young. And so a lot of their elders don't even get to be, you know, true elders like here in their 70s and 80s. And so Mom just represented Mom to everybody. And it was just so beautiful to watch how people responded to her. Yeah. Yeah, so
What is the youngest age?
the youngest person right now on the journey is 4. And we went around the world. The youngest member of our team was 3.5. Yeah. And we have the distinction of being the first African-American woman-led journey around the world for peace. Yeah, that was,
Be in that Guinness Book of Records.
I don't know about that, but we didn't even realize that till Tom Joyner contacted us when we got back, his office, and said they wanted to do a little-known Black history fact on us. And I'm trying to think, well, what did we do, you know? And they said, well, you're the first, you know. I said, oh, okay, great. So that was a good, yeah, wasn't it?
And you are heading up this group.
Yes, ma'am. I've been walking for a decade, over a decade now, so over 10 years. And my walks have led me down the Appalachian Trail, through many of the Underground Railroad passages and the Trail of Tears, then over to Ghana, West Africa, to the slave dungeons, to do healing and reconciliation work, and then around the world, and now across the U.S. And the reason we're going across the country is to expose things that are happening in communities that nobody's talking about, you know, just to help bring that to the public awareness so that we can do some work on healing and changing things that need to be changed.
Do you have very many questions about our president?
Do I have many questions about him?
Yes, when you stop. And the group wants to know something about the attitude toward the general run of people. Do they ever question you?
You know, it's interesting. That question has never ever come up. I think maybe because we don't walk in a political way. Well, we do and we don't. We don't in the sense of the normal realm of politics, but we do in the sense that we'll ask very bold questions no matter what side of the political arena you're on, if an issue in the community needs that issue to be brought forward. But I will say this, when President Obama won, we were in Morocco just before the election, and everybody over there in Morocco was so excited about Barack Obama. It was amazing because most of the time we traveled, people couldn't stand Bush. They didn't like Bush at all. And as soon as it looked like Barack Obama was going to win, everybody, the energy around how people felt about our country changed. And so we flew from Morocco to the Caribbean. So we were in St. Croix. And the night of the elections, we were gathered at a Baba in the community. He had everybody come over so we could pray during the election, you know, to for the ancestors to open the way for Barack Obama. And when it was announced that he won, the whole island went crazy. The whole island went crazy. So we were so glad. We got our absentee ballots in the very end of the last day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because when we were in Morocco, we couldn't get it to go through. But when we got to St. Croix, we were able to make connections and got through. Yeah, but on this part of the journey, the political aspect hasn't really been as big as I think it's going to come, as it will be. Chief, as you know, because you've been following our walks now, my goodness, probably about 5 years. When we do a walk like this, it's a considerable commitment on behalf of the walkers. Each person that comes onto this walk has to make a decision about how they're going to handle their personal affairs at home while they join the walk. Many of them sell off most of what they have or make considerable life changes just to be able to be present on the walk. And in addition, each of them has to pay a monthly fee to be on the walk. And needless to say, the amount of money that we're each able to pay to be on the walk is minimal compared to what our financial needs are. And while we do have an administrative team now working to help get grants and sponsorships, the economy is very tough right now. And so we have to depend on this walk, just like we did on all of our other walks. We have to depend on the community to help us move dollar by dollar, step by step. So it's the contributions of people, financial contributions, as well as willingness to be host in the communities when we come through, help connect us to the right communities who need the opportunity opportunities that we provide, and who are willing to even, you know, have a potluck for the team as we come through. All those kinds of things, Chief. And it's very easy. If you want to make a financial contribution, you can go to www.13, that's the number 13, moonwalk4peace.com, and you'll find a button there where it says donation, and you just click on that and you can make a donation. And most people don't realize $10 a month, $20 a month goes a long way towards us being able to make it around the country.
Okay, is this a 501c3 contribution?
It certainly is. The name of our organization is the Spirit of Truth Foundation, and it is a 501c3 organization.